The West Coast Trail is a 75-kilometer hiking trail on the remote west coast of Vancouver Island in Canada and is considered as one of the most beautiful hikes in the world. Each year, about 7,500 backpackers make their way through the lush rainforest and the rugged coastline from Port Renfrew 75 kilometers north to Bamfield or vice versa. The trail is known for its steep mud, cable car crossing and the many ladders. Wet routes and natural obstacles like fallen trees make it challenging at times. On average, between 80 and 100 hikers are evacuated each year and many others sustain minor injuries. It is, however, a place of incredible natural beauty and home to many animals like black bears, humpback whales, marine life and sea lions. The combination of lush rainforest, rough coastline and complete wilderness make this an experience of a lifetime. Last year I hiked the trail by myself and the weather wasn't in my favor. I'm hoping for sun this year as my friend Sarah and I embark on this epic journey through the Canadian wilderness in 6 days.
Alright, good morning. We just making breakfast and then gonna start the trail real soon. The weather is so beautiful. This campsite was amazing because you could hear the waves crash. I slept really well.
Originally, we didn't even plan to camp at Campground, but as we were ready to start the trail yesterday, I realized I forgot my hiking boots back home in Vancouver. Probably the most essential item on this trail, so we had to backtrack to Victoria and get some new ones and start the trail the next morning. Let's see how it goes with the blisters. I really hope they won't be too bad.
Are you excited to start the trail?
Very excited, kind of nervous.
You scared?
A little bit.
For Sarah, it's the first time overnight backpacking, so it's going to be interesting to see how she will like the challenge of spending 6 days in the wilderness. And because of our late starts, today will be a long day, as we have to compensate for the lost time and have to hike the distance of 2 days in only one. At least we took the mandatory orientation the day before, so we are ready to leave first thing in the morning and meet two fellow hikers, Spencer and Petra, that start the trail with us.
It's lighter than ours.
That's what I said.
Okay, let me feel. Tie his back.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even taking it off. I'm just taking it
It's
away.
like I can barely lift it. Like
To start the trail in the south, you have to take a ferry that takes you on a short ride across the water to the beginning of the trail.
Are you excited for the first ladder? It goes up like crazy.
Shitting scared, like.
Oh my god. That's huge.
Anyway, good luck, guys.
It's so big. Oh my god.
The first ladder climbs more than 50 feet from the beach straight into the rainforest and can be a bit scary to do with a big pack. But we both made it up safely and we can finally start hiking and take the first step of many.
Wow, you did good.
Woohoo! I did it!
Is it scary?
Not really, I didn't look down.
Okay, yeah. All right, here we go. Kilometer 0. I will see if we make it to Camper Bay tonight.
Today we're hiking 13 kilometers, which should take us about 8 hours. The trail starts out in the forest for 5 kilometers before we cut down to the beach at Thrasher. Then hopefully come early enough to make it along the beach over the boulder field to Owens Point. Then continue along the beach until we cut back inland and reach our first camp spot, Camper Bay.
Yeah, so definitely a section with a lot of ladders. Up on that side and then down on the other side and up on this side again. How does it feel like?
Whew, those ladders are exhausting.
Right?
Feel good though.
You're doing great though.
Thank you.
About 4 kilometers in, we reach the highest point of the trail. With 213 meters of elevation, the West Coast Trail is not the highest trail I've ever done, but definitely the longest. And considering that there's many ladders ahead of us and we constantly have to go back down to sea level, the trail has more elevation gain than you might think.
So there's the way to Thrasher. This is where we should have been last night, but I forgot my boots obviously. So far they've been pretty good. No blisters yet, but we have some catching up to do today. We head to the beach.
Yay!
This is where we could have camped last night.
Wow. Snack time.
After a quick break for lunch, one of the biggest challenges await. We have to cross the boulder field to make it to Owens Point. In the midday heat without any shade, definitely not easy, especially because you constantly have to watch where you step so you don't slip on the wet rocks. Boulder's getting bigger and bigger. Around this corner is where it starts. Should take us about 1 hour, and the water is coming in again, so we gotta hurry.
It is quite sketch.
Yeah, Sarah's doing really good so far. First time with a huge backpack going through these rough sections, kind of tricky. Oh, Sarah, I think we're almost on the boulders. Oh yeah, I see Owen Point. So these are called surge channels. The water comes in. You gotta be really careful because when the tide comes up, it just fills up with water really quickly, and you don't want to be in there because otherwise you get pulled out to the ocean. Be careful though, Sarah. Sarah, be careful.
No, I got this.
Yeah, there you go. After hiking near the ocean for the majority of the day, we cut back inland for the last section of the trail before we reach our campsite at Camper Bay, where also the first cable car crossing awaits. So this is the first cable car. The river's not super strong, but we're gonna try it anyways. Your train has arrived. Big pick. And now we find a campsite and set up the tent. I'm so tired. Okay, made some dinner. Made Irish shepherd's pie today. After dinner and tired from a long day, we are walking out towards the ocean and enjoy hearing the waves crash and watching the sun go down. Tomorrow, the hardest day of the trail awaits us. Waking up to a beautiful sunrise with light rays and lots of mist, I'll get the food out of the bear bins, make coffee, and enjoy a slow morning at camp. Today we will have to go through some of the toughest parts of the trail, but first, breakfast. As always, I'll make my breakfast with like oats, put protein powder in, then some nuts, a little bit of granola. Then I always bring these baby foods. They're kind of heavy, but they taste so good. And Sarah's eating this is a little trick. These Quaker ones, and you can pour the water directly into the bag. And how is it?
Oh, so good.
By the way, these are the washrooms. They're actually pretty nice for a outhouse in the middle of nowhere. Ready?
I'm ready.
Today's hike will take us 9 kilometers north from our campground at Camper Bay, entirely inland through the rainforest to Walbran Creek, where we'll set up camp for the night. It might seem like a short day, but the terrain is very rough. Lots of roots, fallen trees, and other obstacles make it hard to move fast. Not to mention the many ladders we have to climb up and down today. From the campsite, the trail starts off steep into the rainforest, where we have great views on the misty ocean. But after making good progress on the boardwalks, it is not long until we encounter our first muddy section. Some dense bush here. And our pace slows down drastically. Is there more mud?
The whole way.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, ladders too.
Oh.
Big ladders.
We made it through. Now, compared to last year, the trail is in really good condition and there's way less mud. Shortly after the 16-kilometer mark, two really long and steep sections of ladders start that take us down to sea level, across the river and up again to the rainforest, only to repeat the same thing all over again a few kilometers further.
How are the ladders?
Woo!
It's a workout for sure, hey?
Big time.
This is definitely one of the most exhausting sections of the trail. Just filling up the water here, and then we're taking the cable car over, little lunch break, and then up the ladders. It's gonna be fun. You did the ladders. Now, after regaining speed on some nice and easy boardwalk, we are pleased to see that the newly constructed bridge prevents us from having to go down a third set of ladders, which saves us so much time and energy, which we'll need for the muddy sections ahead. So this is what the West Coast Trail is known for, lots of mud. This year it isn't too bad, but there's still a few muddy sections here, as you can see. Sarah's making her way through now. Yeah, this is definitely one of the hardest parts of the trail. There's so many obstacles here on the way. Got a little surprise for you.
What?
You excited?
Yeah?
More ladders.
No!
But we also leave the last ladder for the day behind us and finally arrive at Walbran Creek for a well-deserved rest for the night. We did it. It's a beautiful evening and we started a fire directly at the ocean. So this is basically wraps around the stove and it protects you from the wind so you don't use as much gas. Actually pretty cool. Okay, water was boiling really fast in that, and Sarah is gonna have the chai masala rice dish. Good. After setting up camp, warming up at the fire and eating dinner, we both are super tired and exhausted and are ready to fall asleep to the sound of the ocean. We have a full day of beach walking ahead of us the next day. It's a nice morning. It rained a little bit this morning in the tent, so I was a little worried that the weather's not going to be good. But luckily it stopped. After a much needed bath, we are all cleaned up and excited for a fairly short and easy day. Ready for day 3?
Ready?
Today's hike will be 11 kilometers from our campsite at Walbran Creek, almost entirely along the beach until we reach Carmana Lighthouse. From here, it's not long until we reach our campsite at Cripps Creek. At low tide, the flat rock surface makes it really easy to walk on and is a well-received contrast to the sand, which can be more of a workout. How's the day starting so far?
Late start, but good.
Easy?
Super easy. It's a little slippery, but we're good.
After walking along the beach for a while, we see the lighthouse in the distance and arrive at the burger shack, which doesn't seem to be open. But there's some workers outside doing construction, and we have heard from other hikers that they were able to buy a burger and a beer here. Sarah likes the forest more than the beach because it's not as hard to walk on the sand.
The sand is just a freaking workout.
Going up on the only inland section of the day, we arrive at the lighthouse, which was built in 1922 and marks the entrance of the Juan de Fuca Strait that we have been hiking along. After going back down to the beach, we are really looking forward to arrive at camp. We definitely can feel the heavy packs and intense hikes over the last couple of days.
Okay, we're almost at Cripps camp for the night. Only at the beach today, which was nice. But we're both sore today, so it's good to have a little shorter day, because tomorrow is going to be longer again, going to all the way to Susiat Falls. Sarah's over it.
Tired.
You ready to set up camp?
Yes.
This year the trail has been surprisingly empty. We only came across a few other hikers that were heading the other direction. And the campsites weren't busy, with only 1 or 2 other groups there. Maybe last year's heavy rainfall in May and June scared away most people to do it early in the season.
What?
Nap time.
Wow. So good.
Just enjoying some dinner here. Campfire going, and there's a nice sunset over there, so perfect evening.
In the second part of the video, you'll see us reach the Crab Shack, where you can get fresh salmon and cold drinks. We also hike along probably the most beautiful part of the trail, with great ocean views, and camp at my favorite campsite.
Super windy today. Sand is blowing all over. But we're almost at the campsite.
Before we finish the trail on day 6.
Guess what's around the corner?
The trailhead.